Bam 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 bam.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Scrappy. I've been asked a lot this season to make an Apex Legends tier list for Season 18, and after I scrolled through YouTube and watched a couple other Apex Legends tier list videos, I realized it was very necessary for me to do this because I saw a lot of misinformation out there regarding the Legends in the current ranked meta. And unlike any other person that makes videos such as this, I actually have experience with every single Legend as I went from Bronze to Masters with every legend in Season 16 and Season 17. I'm also a 15 times Apex Predator right now, currently about top 300 pred on PC, of course, and I have well over 10,000 hours in the game. And don't even tell me to go touch grass. If you know, you know. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is because if you play the legends that I have in S tier or A tier, and you don't typically play legends like that, you'll definitely start to gain more RP and hit ranks that you've always dreamed of hitting before. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Here is the best Apex Legends tier list for Season 18 ranked. Make sure to leave a comment below if you agree or disagree with my choices. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, now let's get into the Apex Legends tier list video for Season 18. In rank this season, you're going to see a mixture of primarily Bangalore's, Catalysts, a lot of Horizons still, and definitely a lot of Revenants. And that, I would say that's the Mount Rushmore of Legends for meta this season. So we'll be sure to highlight why those Legends are being played so much. In addition to why other legends may not be being played as much this season in Season 18. Because the system is a lot more challenging, so your legend comp does matter a lot more than it did last season at least. Hence why you start to see a lot of the same legends being rotated in and out of the meta right now. But also remember, we're going to be talking about the individual strength of each legend and their impact that they have in the fights that you're taking in the game, or their ability to escape, or to extend life, or to disrupt plays. We're looking at each legend as an entirety. This is a ranked tier list. And so Ashe is definitely, we're starting off pretty weak right now. We got to go with C tier. You're not going to get a lot of viability out of her. You do see rarely a few people playing this in current ranked right now. But you really don't get that much effectiveness with her. And the much better option to play other than Ashe is definitely going to be Wraith, of course, the other legend that uses a portal. So we'll be sure to highlight that later. But Ashe is really like a solo queue warrior legend, and she doesn't add a lot of value to your team. And her portal is the only aspect of team play that she could provide her team, and even then it's fairly weak. Ashe simply is just not a game-changing legend that you want to have on your team, and there are going to be many better legends for you to have on your team if you're looking to gain ranks quickly in the last 20 days of the season. Moving forward. All right, so now we have Ballistic. Ballistic is definitely going to be a D tier legend, especially for 3-stack, and especially if you're trying to gain mass amounts of RP in a limited amount of time. There's really nothing that he provides other than a flashy ultimate where everybody gets a speed boost and everybody gets infinite ammo, and that can be a game changer in certain circumstances. And his Q is definitely hit or miss, but that could also help determine the outcome of a fight, or at least an individual 1v1. But overall, if you began to play Ballistic a little more, you'll definitely notice how weak he is in terms of that impact that he has on that fight. Yeah, the fast movement and the infinite reload is really nice, but it very seldom will get you to end game and help put you in positions where you could win the entire game, as opposed to those individual fights. So we have to put Ballistic in D tier, as we put Ashe in S tier. And moving forward, we have Bangalore. That's always going to be an S tier legend. There's a reason why she's being played more and more than ever right now. Fun fact, if you didn't know, my good friend Shubi, who's the #1 pred right now, really started and propagated the Bangalore meta on PC once we all switched to PC from console in Season 12. Before, if you had asked any PC player, where would you rate Bangalore? They would all say very low, very weak legend, which is crazy to me. Because on console, Bangalore was played a lot to disrupt aim assist, where PC players really didn't have to worry about that back in the day. But then Shubi came to PC and showed everybody how to really properly use Bangalore, and she's been in meta ever since, now more than ever, especially with the nerfs of a few of the other legends. So we put Bangalore in S tier. And just so I can show you what it means to be an S tier legend right now, again, specifically for ranked, think about the overall impact that Bangalore has for her team and for herself, opposed to legends that I put lower in the tier already, like Ash and Ballistic. Bangalore, you have two smoke covers that can be used both aggressively or defensively, and essentially both act like a Gibby bubble in terms of cutting off LOSs and granting some sort of protection, because you can't shoot what you can't see. And although you have digi threats, which are a good counter to that, unless if it's digi day in the crafter, it's very hard to come across a digi threat, at least consistently every game, especially when you're going up against the amount of Bangalores that you're going up against. It's very difficult to find digi threats. More than that, she has her double time passive, which keeps her alive and makes her such a large and dangerous threat when it comes to 1v1s, 1v2s, or any fight situation that Bangalore's in. So that helps her specifically, but her movement is so strong. Keeping her alive also helps out your teammates as well. And then you have your Bangalore ultimate, again, which can be used also it could also be used defensively or aggressively to get people off of high ground, to prevent people from pushing you, to zone out a team properly, to create more space between you and the enemy team, to buy you some time to heal or reset. S tier, in terms of this video, really means versatility, and again, their overall impact that they have in the fight and in the game. And Bangalore is definitely going to be a perfect example of what an S tier legend means in Season 18. Next, you have Bloodhound. Mind you, I haven't thought about these at all. I think I have to put Bloodhound right now, currently, I think B tier. Although we're starting to see a lot more Bloodhound being played right now, and that's only because of Bangalore. That Blood Bang combination where you smoke out the enemy and then scan them, or you have your ultimate so you could see through Bangalore smoke all the time without needing a digi threat. Bloodhound's definitely being played a lot more. So if we're looking at Bloodhound's overall strength in and of itself, and we're not looking at Bloodhound existing solely currently in this meta right now as a direct counter to Bangalore, then I have to put Bloodhound at B tier, especially after their nerf. What was that, last season or a couple seasons ago? You'll always get a lot of information out of a legend like Bloodhound. It can definitely help your team when it comes to, again, scanning the recon beacon. Scanning the recon beacon and seeing where the enemies are at on the map. Using your tactical, which is nowhere near as good as where it used to be. Same with the ultimate. You get a lot of effectiveness out of it, but Bloodhound used to be a lot stronger. And I have to put Bloodhound at B tier for that reason right now. You'll get some effectiveness. B tier is not necessarily bad, but the only reason why we're seeing Bloodhound being played to the extent that we are right now is because of this major Bangalore meta, and Bloodhound acts as a direct counter to her. But if we remove that from the situation, then you'll understand that Bloodhound really isn't the strongest legend, or somebody that you definitely need to be playing game after game. There are much better legends. And speaking of much stronger legends, we have Catalyst, who definitely is automatically going to be S tier. And there's no better legend right now when it comes to bunkering up and fortifying within a building, with all the spikes that she has, with the reinforcements to the doors that require them to take more damage to be destroyed, so it buys you more time. And then once the door is destroyed, you can reinforce the door with your passive and make a makeshift brand new door. It's insane how much time she could buy you when bunkering within a building that no other legend can. The only other close one would be Caustic. And on top of that, she has her ultimate, which can be used in various amounts of ways. Again, offensively, defensively, passively, aggressively. You could use it to push teams. You could use it to, again, cut off LOS so you could rotate cleanly without taking a lot of damage. Or if you guys are, getting destroyed and one of your teammates may get knocked, again, cut off LOS, slow down the enemy's push, and revive them behind cover. She is such a strong legend. If you're looking to gain a lot of RP this season and you haven't been playing a legend like Catalyst, you're tripping. Go Catalyst. There's a reason why she's a meta right now, and there's a reason why she's being played so much in comp. The whole comp argument doesn't always necessarily translate. The legends that may be good in comp aren't always good in ranked, but this is a legend that is definitely good in all facets of the game, and you should definitely try her out if you haven't already. Next after that, we have Caustic. We're not seeing a lot of Caustics being played right now in today's meta in Season 18, and that can't be without reason. Caustic has definitely experienced a lot of nerfs over the years because back in Season 6, Caustic was absolutely crazy. They definitely needed to tweak him. But Caustic is still an effective legend. The downside with a legend like Caustic as opposed to Catalyst is that although Caustic does have some versatility to him, he definitely exists primarily as a defensive legend rather than an offense/defense legend. So we put him at B tier. Wouldn't necessarily recommend him, but he's definitely stronger than Ashe and Ballistic right now, so we'll put him at B tier. Next you'll have Crypto. Crypto is a very, very strong legend, but he takes a lot of time and practice to perfect. And that's something I realized in my solo to master series with him. And that's simply put, in 90 days, it's not enough time to become proficient with a legend, especially if you never played him before. And Crypto really isn't all that seamless when it comes to his integration into your legend comp. He works better with some legends compared to others. And again, it takes so much time and practice, but he is very powerful once you get to almost a pro league level with him. He's good for scooping up banners too, which is always effective for your team. But you're much better off playing a support legend if that's why you're choosing to play him. And right now, we just don't see him really being all that effective in today's meta. And I can't recommend him. And I can't recommend you and your squad to try to play him if you're looking to gain a lot of RP, again, especially if you never played him before. But I still got love for my Crypto mains. He can be powerful when used in the correct hands. But right now, you're better off using other legends other than Crypto right now. I promise you that. Next, we have Fuse. Fuse is B tier. Fuse is a very destructive and impactful legend that we are starting to see a lot more people start to play. My biggest caveat with him is that people that panic spam his abilities as opposed to using them preemptively. He is very good for zoning off teams with his ultimate, with his knuckle clusters. He's good for being aggressive, defensive. He's good for finishing thirst. He's a very sound legend through and through. And his level of lethality and aggression is definitely impactful for you and your team and can help put you in positions to win the game. But is he the strongest legend when it comes to these things? No, of course not. And that's why I put him at B tier. Although he's definitely fun to play if you haven't played him yet. And he's very easy to understand how to use. Again, just don't spam his abilities. Lead in with your gun. Lead in with your brain. And use his abilities second as a supplement to that. Don't just start spamming everything like everybody does. And then you end up getting one clip by the top 10 pred. Because you have no clue what you're doing. You're just panic ulting. Panic spam. You get it. You get what I'm talking about. Gibby. This might come as a surprise to a lot of people. But Gibby will always be S tier, and I don't know why people don't think that. Because just a few seasons ago, Gibby was S tier on everybody's lists because he was being played at a 99% pick rate in comp, and he had one of the highest pick rates in in pred lobbies and ranked back in the day. And again, this was only a few seasons ago. I think maybe 5 seasons ago. And yet, when Maggie was introduced into the game and existed as a direct counter to Gibby, and with the addition of Newcastle as well, we started to see a lot less Gibbies being played. And people started to down-talk Gibby. He's a very strong, powerful legend that can also is a support legend, so he can craft banners. And that's very important when you're solo queuing or 3-stacking, which will help you gain the most amounts of RP and help minimize the amount of RP that you lose per game. On top of that, Gibby has his bubble, he has his ultimate, which are both very good, again, as both offense and defensive tactics, which add some versatility to him. He also has fortification, so he takes more damage, so he's able to take more bullets. So he also has fortification, so he's able to take more damage, and he's got his gun shield on top of that. All things considered, this makes him an extremely effective and powerful 1v1 legend, and with all of the other things that I mentioned, make him extremely powerful as a team player and as a team legend, and can definitely get you to end games more consistently, which will help you rank up faster. Gibby is definitely a top tier pick for sure. Next you have Horizon. Horizon recently got nerfed. She was always an S tier legend for the longest time, but with her nerfs, you have to definitely bump her down to A tier, but it doesn't mean that she's any less effective. You just can't use her as you were able to use her back in the day when you would go up a queue and one clip everybody and you would go up the queue extremely fast. Now she's slowed down a little bit. Now you don't have 100% accuracy in her queue, but if you're a smart Horizon main and you know how to use and finesse her, she's still very powerful for taking high ground, for keeping her and her teammates alive, getting them out of bang ults or Gibby ults or whatever. She is very aggressive in terms of attacking a team with her ultimate, with grenades, being paired with other legends abilities as well. Definitely a strong legend, but with her slight nerfs, we have to bump her down to A tier for sure. Next, we have Lifeline. You don't see a lot of Lifelines being played right now, and that's for a very real reason. The only time you see a Lifeline being played is either if it's a pro player playing him, if it's a pro player playing her and he's just screwing around, or it's an absolute bot. There's no in between. Lifeline has to be C tier right now. If you're going to pick a support legend and revivability is one of your things that you're looking for the most, you have better legends to be playing. Again, that provide more cover and more protection and more, and overall just has a larger impact for you and your teammates in the game that you're playing than Lifeline does. She is very situational and can be very difficult to fight against when your teammates are going down and it's a 1v1 and you're able to tap and revive and tap and revive. But other than that, again, there are better legends for you to be playing. Her hitbox is great. Her ultimate is subpar. And her passive is great for resets. But if you're really looking to gain, again, the legends that I have in S tier are going to be playing S and A tier right now are being played predominantly. So if that's why you're playing Lifeline, and so Lifeline really isn't the best option. Mind you, there is a strong meta that exists right now. And that meta that exists is going to be the legends that are S tier and A tier and somewhat B tier. Everything C and D are legends that you don't typically see at all. And these are all legends that are going to struggle immensely against the legends in meta, especially the S tier ones. Because this tier list is specifically for this season, that's something I'm taking into consideration as well. Again, I'm trying to think of everything possible to help you gain, to help you pick the best legends, to help you figure out what legends you need to be playing so that you can rank up in the last 20 days and hit Masters or Pred or whatever it is. Next, you have Loba. Loba is definitely an A tier legend, and I'm proving that right now with my very late last minute push to top 100 Pred. She is so good for resets with her ability as a support legend. She is very good for taking angles and stretching out the enemy team. And she, if you know how to play her, is one of the strongest anchoring legends, which is super impactful for you and your team. On top of that, you have her ultimate, so you never struggle with loot. You never struggle with anything at all. And she can take you easily all the way to endgame with all things considered because you never run out of loot. I did put her as S tier for solo queuing because she is the best solo queue legend. But because this is, a bit more of a broad tier list in terms of strength specifically is what I'm looking at, I'm going to have to put her at A tier. She's just not quite at the S tier level as Bangalore, Catalyst, and Gibby are. And now for Mad Maggie. Mad Maggie is a little tricky one. I wish there was a place that I could put in between A and B right now. But I think I'm a bit more comfortable with putting her in A tier simply because, again, there is a hard meta that exists. So what legends are good counters to that meta that everybody is playing? Mad Maggie is one of them. With all the people that are playing Catalyst right now, she acts as a direct counter to her. And Gibby. Although Gibby's not played that much, I still think he's one of the strongest legends in the game, hence why I put him in S tier. But she acts as a counter to both of them. And other legends that are also being played that we haven't got to just yet. But she only really is good when it comes to offensive attacks, right? And doesn't add a lot of defensive prowess or ability to you and your team. But she does attack very, very well. And if you're a strong fighting team, she's a very good legend for that. So that's why I put her in A tier. I think she's very effective, but not quite at the S tier level and probably will never get there. She's definitely like if I could put like a sleeper pick, I think for a lot of people that it may go over their heads. But I've had a lot of success with Mad Maggie, and I see a lot of other good players, top tier players using her too because they're super aggressive and she works perfectly with that type of playstyle. But if you're not aggressive and you're going to be passive, you might want to avoid her. Next we have Mirage, a support legend. And no matter if you're solo queuing or 3-stacking, it's very hard for me to put support legends below B tier. But right now with Mirage, again, in terms of their overall impact in the fight or in the game and getting you to endgame, I might have to put them at C tier just like I did with Lifeline. Although they both are support legends and they can craft banners, which is one of the greatest features ever put into the game, Mirage isn't going to be a legend that helps get you to that end game. He's one of those quirky, very niche legends that you can get away with if you're super duper, proficient with them. But overall, he's not going to change the outcome of the game for you like the other legends will. So we'll put him at C tier for that. And again, you don't really see a lot of people playing Mirage right now. And I don't think that's a coincidence. And next we have Newcastle. Newcastle, I don't care what anybody says, still the lowest pick rate legend in the game, I believe. I think it actually just switched to crypto. I can speculate as to why that's the case, but it does not take away from the overall strength that Newcastle is going to give you and your team. He's one of the strongest legends in the game, undoubtedly, and I have to put him at S tier. Whether or not you decide to start playing him, that's up to you. No matter what your opinion is, objectively, this is a S tier legend with all that he has to offer and the amount of impact that he has for you and your teammates in the game, getting you to endgame, getting you out of fights, into fights, rotating, everything. This man could do it all. That's a S tier legend for sure, and one of my personal favorites, I think. He carries a lot of responsibility. And there's a lot of things that you have to worry about as a Newcastle. In addition to his hitbox size, I think that's a turnoff for a lot of the, more casual community just looking to play ranked as they do. But if you're looking to gain masters or hit pred and you're playing the game a lot and you don't really have a legend, but you like defensive characters, maybe try him out and you'll quickly see how good he is. Plus, did I mention he could craft banners? I know. He literally does 50 different things. Next we have Octane. Octane genuinely is a throw pick. He exists purely as a solo queue warrior. If you're solo queuing, he's very good, obviously, with his speed and his ability to escape situations. Once your teammate goes down, just run away and preserve life. But when we think about the team aspect of the game and his overall impact that he has in the game, he's not the strongest legend at all. And for that reason, I'm probably going to have to put him at C tier. I could definitely argue for D tier. Again, this is Season 18. I'm only talking about Season 18. He really doesn't do anything against the legends that are being played predominantly right now. And although speed kills, and if you're very good with a legend like Octane, you know how to finesse him, he could be extremely lethal within fights. He just doesn't add much except his jump pad to get you and your teammates out of dodge when necessary. I don't recommend playing him. He's not the strongest pick, and I have to put him at C tier. Still a fun legend, though, if you're solo queuing and you like running away from fights. Pathfinder is the next legend that we have. Pathfinder, I think, was previously an S tier legend, I think, last season. But right now, I think Pathfinder and Loba are very similar, so I think I have to put him at A tier. His hitbox is huge, and his movement feels clunky, and it does take a lot of practice to become proficient again with his grapple, and it takes a lot of time and skill to be able to be efficient with it. His zipline is very good for rotations, but can easily be a death trap if you don't know what you're doing with his ultimate. But he kind of is more of the solo queue type legend. Again, he does have a lot of effectiveness with his ability to take height consistently, and he's such a dynamic fighter. So he does have a lot of strength when it comes to fights. He could be very aggressive, even defensive when it comes to anchoring, just like Loba. And we do see a lot of Pathfinder still being played, again, by the most aggressive players out there. So I had to put him at A tier. But there's nothing special about him. He's always been at the top of the meta. In some way or another, people have always loved playing him. And he's always been one of the most picked legends in pubs. And now in rank for the last couple seasons since he got that buff a couple seasons ago. So we put him at A tier. I think he's a good legend. I think he's a pretty strong legend too, in the right hands. If you never played Pathfinder before, good luck with that though. Next we have Rampart. Rampart's a funky one. Rampart's being played a lot this season. And it's usually by bots. But damn, that's a difficult legend to fight against. especially if it's not a bot playing her and it's a person that actually knows how to use Rampart effectively. Rampart's a difficult one though. Where would I put Rampart? She's definitely not S tier. I don't think I could argue A tier for her. I think right now, I think she belongs in the B tier. Not a lot of D tiers right now. Rampart, again, one legend that does one thing really good, but doesn't have a lot of versatility on the other side. She's extremely defensive and doesn't have a lot of offensive ability behind her. And again, versatility is strength, let me remind you. But when it comes to fighting a Rampart in the proper, the most optimal environment for a Rampart, which would be within buildings or, you know, in an area where you're backed up into a corner and you don't have to worry about your flank. She's pretty damn effective, but with this Horizon meta that we still have, it's very easy to counter her, and we have a lot of Horizons being played. And if you're looking to play controller legend at all, your obviously best choice is going to be Catalyst. And so we have to put Rampart at B tier for that. Strong in the right environment, just like Caustic. But overall, her overall impact really isn't the greatest, and really isn't somebody that you need to switch to if you want to gain RP, but still can be pretty damn annoying to fight against. And next we have Revenant. Revenant, who would have ever thought would be S tier, man? They really did a good job with Revenant this season. I think a little bit too good. I think a little bit too good of a job, in my opinion. And I actually think genuinely he deserves to be nerfed, because that overshield, getting 75 extra health every single fight, every single knock, and you get the ultimate so quick, and on top of that you have movement. It doesn't matter if his hitbox becomes larger when you're in his ultimate. You literally have blue shield on top of every single fight that you get in, on top of the armor that you already have. If you have red armor, you have 300 damage it takes for you to be killed. And if you get a knock, you get that shield recharged back again and again and again. And also increases the duration of his ultimate every knock that you get. He seems almost impossible to kill at times. And even in the hands of a subpar player, his ultimate is so strong, it makes bad players look good and good players look amazing. And again, on top of that, he has movement too, so that provides some sort of rotational aspect for him. He could play as an anchor, as a fragger or whatever, you name it. He could do everything. He's so versatile now. That's definitely an S tier legend, and that's why he's being played at the top 3 pick rate. At a top 3 pick rate right now, I believe. He dropped down from the number 1 pick. And so that's why we'll have Revenant at S tier. Right now, this is really what you see in the meta, except from these two, Gibby and Newcastle. You will see Newcastle and Gibby being played here and there, but not like Bangalore, Catalyst, or Revenant. But again, remember, versatility is strength, and these two legends are very powerful. No matter if people are playing them or not, they will always exist at S tier for me. Seer. Wow. And who would have thought right after we put Rev in S tier, we'd be putting Seer in D tier? Goodness gracious. Thank God, okay? A legend that has been at S tier for the longest time. After 4 different nerfs, he finally is dog meat. And you will never see him being played. He is obsolete right now, except for the rare off chance he might be played by a person, 1 out of every 100 games. But you really do not want to be playing Seer right now. Everything about him sucks. There's no need to play him. If you need scans that much, you're much better off playing Bloodhound. I don't want to go further on Seer because I'm starting to get PTSD just thinking about him, but it makes me so happy that he's so damn weak. Nobody's playing him now, and he belongs exactly at D tier for the next several seasons. I don't care. This makes me so happy. Next, we have Valkyrie. With the addition of evac towers and all the other legends that we have being phased into meta right now, Valkyrie's kind of a mediocre mid legend that I put at C tier. She took that major nerf a few seasons ago. And again, on top of that, with the addition of evac towers, you're much better off playing any one of these legends, really, and utilizing evac towers as opposed to playing Valkyrie and wasting a pick on your team pretty much. Anybody could teleport, or anybody Anybody can rotate now with evac towers. You don't need a legend that only is good for rotations when you have evac towers. You're much better. Again, my perfect example is playing a legend like Catalyst and getting all that she has to offer and using evac towers to rotate, as opposed to using Valkyrie, whose tactical sucks, whose passive sucks, and the only thing that's decent about her is her ultimate. But why waste a pick on her? Put her at C tier. Nobody plays her really. Vantage we don't see being played all that often this season at all. That doesn't take away from her strength, and I think with her ability as an anchor, so defensive characteristic about her would be anchoring. I think she's very, very good with that. She also has an offensive nature to her as well. Her ability to close gaps, to take height, to push fights and be aggressive. She's very good. Her ability to open up fights with major damage, maybe even a cheeky knock with her ultimate, is extremely effective as well. And so as a solo queue legend, I think she's a lot stronger than this. But again, when it comes to her versatility, her strength and impact in fights and in the game, and her potential to get you to endgame, she's not the strongest for that. But she is strong. Just not stronger than any one of these legends up here, I don't think. And so we'll put her at B tier. Next, we have Wattson. You guys know what I think about Wattson. Wattson exists as a D tier legend always for me. And I've talked about it many, many times. If you are playing Wattson, and her only job, the only thing she's good at is bunkering up with her fences and zoning teams out in that regard. And her ultimate's okay as well, but you typically use that within a building. So the only thing she's good at is bunkering up within a building. She is so easy to counter. And this is exactly what I mean. If she doesn't have her Bangalore ult, she doesn't have her Wattson ult, Bangalore's ultimate will just destroy all of her fences in the wide open, right? Let's see. Gibby, I believe, can throw his Gibby bubble on top of her Wattson fences and disrupt them. So you could just walk through. I believe that's still a thing. Newcastle, if she's in a building, wherever, Newcastle, slam the door, break her fences immediately. Revenant, jump over her fences. Horizon, jump over her fences. Loba, teleport over her fences. Maggie, destroy everything that Wattson has within a building. Pathfinder, grapple over her fences. You see where I'm going? Fuse destroys everything if they don't have her Wattson gen, right? There's so many different counters to Wattson. If you're going to be playing Wattson so that you have some sort of controller aspect to your game, the ability to control an area, then Catalyst needs to be your pick. Wattson is dog meat, and she will never be good. And again, Scrappy, what about people that play her in comp? The people that play her in comp are the 0.001% of the players worldwide in terms of skill. And they have a concrete meta established around her, concrete strategies established around her. And it's a much slower gameplay than what rank is right now. Just because they're good in comp doesn't mean they're always going to be good in ranked or in other things. And in fact, you probably don't know how to play her like those pro players know how to play her. I put her in D tier. I'm tired of people vouching for her. I'll never understand why people play her, other than the fact that she's a cute legend with a nice cute action, with a cute accent. She's quite quirky, and she's got cool skins. But other than that, she's dog meat. D tier legend for sure. Wraith again. Wraith we'll have to put at A tier. We see a lot of Wraiths being played with her buffs that she received to her ultimate. And of course, her ability to phase is always good. It just takes a lot more skill than previously when she was able to instant phase. Loba is definitely a better teleporter. Loba's Q is definitely better than Wraith's. Same with Pathfinder's Q. But Wraith's portal is what separates her from, other mediocre legends. It's very, very strong. I think her passive is okay, but definitely could be buffed somehow, maybe revamped in another way. And her hitbox being so tiny makes her very good for fighting. But her portal is what puts her in the A tier for me. As far as it goes, again, it has a lot of versatility to it. You can use it aggressively or defensively, and it definitely changes the outcome of your team's game. If you're looking to rank up, she is a definitely good legend to be played. And so that's the tier list for me right now. So in S tier, just to summarize, S tier we have Bangalore, Catalyst, Gibby, Newcastle, Revenant. Horizon we have A tier. Honestly, could probably be S tier still, even though she got nerfed. She's still very effective and very predominant in today's meta. Loba, Maggie, Pathfinder, Wraith, Bloodhound, B tier, Fuse. B tier, Bloodhound, Fuse, Caustic, Rampart, Vantage. C tier, Ash, Lifeline, Crypto, Mirage, Octane, Valkyrie. D tier, Ballistic, Seer, and Wattson. I don't think you're going to have a lot of people that disagree with me. Again, the legends that are in S tier to B tier are going to be legends that you see being played the most in today's meta. And so those might be legends that you start. So those are probably legends that you should start gravitating towards, especially the ones in S tier and A tier, if you're looking to rank up in these last few couple weeks. I don't expect a lot of changes to be made going into next season, so this may be true for next season as well. We'll see. I'll make another one. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys next time. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Good luck. You know, I'm quite disagreeable, but it's because I've been playing the game so damn long. I got a lot of knowledge in this brain. But let me know if you agree or disagree or your thoughts. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bam 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 bam. Bam 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 bam. Bam 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 bam. Bam 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 bam.